Hello Jürgen, today we're going to talk about types of cane, different kinds of cane from different farms. And there are two very influential factors to consider when you're choosing the right cane for your optimal reed function. These two things are a relationship between humidity and cane hardness. Will you talk a little bit about the relationship between these two things?
Yes. It sounds very easy, but it is not really. I think the more dry it is in the air and the humidity, the more hardness we will find in our cane. When it is very humid, when it is raining, when it is summer, the cane gets very soft.
So there's a direct relationship between increasing humidity and increasing softness of the cane, or the other way around.
Yes. So that's very important to find the right sort of cane for yourself.
So one thing you want to do is consider the climate that you're in. For example, if you have less than 30% humidity, that's a very dry climate. 30 to 50% is a dry climate. 50 to 70% humidity is humid, 70 to 85% is very humid, and 85% or more is extremely humid. So you can have a look at this table to see where you fall on the spectrum. The time of year plays a role in this also.
Yes. Here in Europe we are going to start our heating in October, and then we get a big reed crisis. Really, all our summer reeds get harsh and dry and often, and they don't work. And so I would consider take another sort of cane.
Another sort of cane.
Make new reeds.
So the heating, when we put on our heating, it dries out the air considerably. So there's a large change in the drop in humidity, which makes a difference.
Every year we have 2 times here in Europe. In other regions it's totally different. It depends on the climate, on the humidity. If you live in an area where, like in the desert or something like this, you have a very dry and hot climate all the time, so you need totally different cane than if you're living in Norway, for example, where you have a lot of rain in summer and a lot of humidity, and in winter it is dry all the time.
So we keep track of this here. So from about our summer months here in Frankfurt are about May to October. That's this part of the season. We have no heating, no air conditioning usually, and there's an average humidity about 50 to 75%. The winter from about November to April is a heating season here in Frankfurt, Central Europe, and our average humidity is much lower. It would be 25 to 35%. One thing to note is if you live in a climate where air conditioning is used in hot months, that also has a drying effect on the air. So you may find that you'll have to try out the proper kind of cane.
And I think there are 2 things which could help. It's humidity measurement. In your room where you are making the reeds, or where you are playing, or in the case for your reeds. In the reed case, yes.
So let's go on to a discussion of the different kinds of cane. We have here at Credo, we use 4 basic cane types. We've used others, but right now we're using Alio, Rigotti, Gautin, and Aegean.
Which is from the Turkey, which is, I think, near Troya.
Okay, Troy.
Troy, yes.
There'll be a table where we talk about a little bit. We've measured the hardnesses of these canes and know about what relationship the canes will have with each other. We can start with maybe talk about the Alio, and we can only talk about this by comparing it to the other kinds that we use. So this is some Alio cane here. It's very silver colored.
Yes, silver colored. Sometimes you get green colored cane, which no one likes really. I recommend to put it in the sun for several days, so that it gets a little bit more golden. I think they don't have enough sun there where it is growing. Like in the totally south of France, they have much more sun, but the quality of the Alio is wonderful for my winter cane.
Okay.
For my winter reeds. Yes. Well, we have here a list about the soft and the hardness of this material, because the Alio has a really hard the outside.
The bark of the cane is quite hard.
It's quite hard. And if we make measurements about the softness, medium or hard, the Alio has 10% soft, which is not much. Medium 40% and 50% hard.
Okay, so quite
high different
ratio of hard cane.
Yes, quite. Well, it depends on the year from the record, from the harvest. Then we have the Rigotti, Janine, in this list.
Rigotti, I have. This is some. I grabbed some Bassoon because it's so big you can see it. This is. I love the color of the Rigotti. It's so golden.
And they have wonderful watermarks here.
Yes.
Oh, great.
That's what the Rigotti looks like. So talk about the Rigotti cane and the characteristics that you find.
Well, yes. The color of the Rigotti, this is a Rigotti cane too, is much more golden. They have a lot of sun there, a lot of wind, sun, and there are some watermarks on this cane, and the tube length, which is very important, it's medium. In the Alio it's very long.
Oh, okay.
Which is sometimes wonderful and sometimes it's awful because it's too long for some needs.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And it's from France, from the south of France.
I didn't ask, but where's the Alio cane grown?
Well, it's near Avignon, which is more north, a little bit more north.
Okay.
Some 100 kilometers, which makes a lot.
And where's the Rigotti grown?
This is in the south, well, perhaps, what would you say, near Saint-Tropez. That's which village everyone knows.
Okay.
Directly at the Mediterranean Sea. Yes. And this Rigotti has 5% soft. Oh, very good. 45% medium, that's really good, and the hard part is 50%. Okay. Well, but the bark is not so hard like on the at the Alio cane.
Okay.
And we have the Gloutin cane, which doesn't grow far away from the Rigotti.
This is the Gloutin cane?
It's a
this
big
is also
name.
Bassoon cane. This is 25 millimeter diameter.
Yes. Well, the color is pale yellow. There are some watermarks like on the Rigotti. The tube length mostly is long. And it's from south of France too. It's not so far away from Rigotti, but there's a difference. And this depends on the totally different earth where it grows, okay. I think.
So what's the difference between the Gloutin and the Rigotti and the characteristic?
It feels much more softer, which has wonderful sound if you need a more softer cane. For example, we have 10% from the soft parts, 55% medium and only 35% hard, which is really totally different to Rigotti and Alio.
Okay.
And then we have this Aegean cane.
The Aegean cane from Turkey?
Yes, from Turkey, yes. This is very interesting. It's a wonderful mixture. We have 5% soft cane. We have 60% medium hardness and 35% hard. This depends on the humidity. If you make those measurements when it is very dry, everything becomes harder, and when it is raining all the time and it's very humid, every cane becomes more soft. So this is a totally mixture from different measurements, so we make a balanced measurement
throughout the year.
Yes.
So during both our dry and our more humid season
yes.
here in Central Europe.
Yes. Well, we tested a lot of, not every, but a lot of other sorts from China, from Argentina. They have wonderful cane. From China, it's a bit more pale and totally different. It's a big country. So But we have the most experiences with Alio and the Rigotti cane. In winter I use the Alio and in summer the Rigotti.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.